dry cooler also.
Okay.
These 3 units are separate from the rest of the whole building.
Okay.
And they're on a dry cooler on the roof.
Yes.
So these 3 units are independently ran with that dry cooler.
Okay.
So if there's a problem with the chiller, it wouldn't be with this.
Okay. The dry cooler is a permanent thing, right? This
Yes.
is not
Correct.
this Moaner.
No. That's the chiller. That's the temp chiller that we're
Okay.
building.
This
That's on
thing
the
is
chiller
never
truck.
changing. This is
No,
all right.
and this is completed.
Okay.
We're still working out some how we're going to control these
Okay.
to make it right. To where the way it came from the engineer was a little misleading. So we're going to try and make sure we get it to where they stage.
Oh.
This is way oversized. I think one of these will probably cool this room. 2 if you got a lot of load. The third one's just back up.
It's back up.
Oh.
One goes out.
Okay.
So
Is that why the third one's off in the middle? It's just
no, they're all running right now.
Yeah, they're all three
running.
are on.
It's just none of them are cooling. One's only probably cooling. Unless you got high load.
Okay.
You got high load and a hot day outside,
It'll
2
kick
of them
in.
might be running.
Yep.
Got it.
So we're just gonna talk with thermal systems and go over which way they would want to stage them, and so they're all being used adequately, and one's not just sitting dormant for a month.
Okay.
So-
Is this the actual sense point for the room, or is there temperature sensors
There's
over
right
over the loads?
Yeah, the sensor's going to be within the system.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much just based on the
Just
control on here.
okay.
Yeah, and right now, since we're trying to figure out how we're going to communicate through VAS, comm lines, individual or personal setting in here, almost has its own personal VAS, is everything's about 2 degrees off. So one cycle in, if that one can't keep up based on a little bit of the temperature, because you do have different section areas of heat load that's in here, that the other one will kind of make up for that time, while the other one just circulate later. All fans are running just to help continue with circulation here. We're trying to dial in a couple things dealing with like humidity and stuff like that within there. Find out exactly where we're going to be now that everything's starting to run. We got more servers that have been placed into here already, and then all that's running.
This is it.
This is final load.
This is the final load.
Okay.
This is everything that's coming in here.
Okay.
So now we know.
And then a little quick as of right now, if by chance you have an IT guy that comes in here and has to do something in form of control, temp's not working out, literally just within these, you can just press the number within itself and do the slide by hand for temperature.
Okay.
If you start going into like programs or everything like that, that kind of gets a little more technical. Because then you got to go into backs, redo the settings, but that's a quick shot on there that we have set. Just press the number, use the slide to get roughly where your temperature you want to be.
Perfect. Right now, he's just going to see that on his system, right?
Yep, that's how it's planned. It's just going to monitor. All the control is going to come by this in here. We'll monitor it through your automation system just to give you temperatures and set points. We'll generate, we'll read if it reads any alarms or anything like that. But as far as the automation controlling it, that's not going to be the case. It's all going to be this guy here. Even though we'll be able to see it at the end of the day, it's going to kind of be a read-only type of situation of what's going on. And
For this room, I think that's okay.
Right.
The only people in here are the ones who care about this equipment.
Right.
So that's probably okay.
Yeah. We just got to figure out how we're going to stage them and make sure that we're cycling them all the same. And
And do you guys have any information too on where you like to have your servers at? Because a lot of times, most companies try to keep them around 70, some people do 6 to 8. You really don't always want to go lower. But a lot of the trip out leads are around like 80 degrees in the space. And now that everything's been re-innovated with a lot of the systems, most of the systems in the signal are trip out around 90 degrees in space. Just wondering kind of if you guys have personal setting or where your alarm
I'll
to.
follow up. I believe I heard her say 68 in the past.
Okay.
Yeah, 68, 70 is pretty common.
Older than any of the other rooms.
We
Okay.
can tie off the bring it, but I believe she said 68. Yeah.
All right, so we'll work on trying to get some of those numbers and stuff down a little bit.
Okay.
Because most of our rooms sit around 68, 70.
Got it. All right.
just if something goes wrong or alarms in the meantime and everything, it will alarm on the screen on there, it will beep for you. So, you know, if you walk in, you hear a beeping, something tripped off on alarm or something's, you know, being held back on alarm or something like that. So,
Okay.
again, when we're done, I will generate those up at the automation end. Like, when are you really staring at the automation end all the time? You know, so I mean, it will be an audible noise in there for you.
Okay, so it'll alarm here, but is it only local, or by the time the system is complete, is that something we can get notified remotely of an overtemp alarm?
Well, yes, we'll have
Yes.
to.
Okay.
We'll have to work. I mean, yes, anything is possible with that. We'll have to sit down and just figure out what we're looking for alarms, and then we'll have to look about. When you say get notified, you're talking like email alarms.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just have to work with IT.
Perfect.
To figure out how to dial out into, web server, email address, all that fun stuff. Usually really, and the way the security and the IT world's been going has been changing crazy lately and everything like that. So we really will probably need to talk with your IT department at some time to help set up an email alarm for it and everything. The past few years, we've been able to get by with just like a generic Google account and everything. The problem is with all the bots out there and everything like that, as soon as my system generates an email, if it's not being managed by an I can get maybe 2 or 3 of them out, and then I get an email from Google saying my account is suspended, they think I'm a bot, and causing all sorts of problems out there. So, you know, it's something we will need to work closely with your IT department on, just because of the way that IT security is going nowadays.
Okay. But like I said, if you got one alarm, it's not the end of the world. Just that unit is not working. If all 3 are alarmed, then we're in trouble.
Yeah,
Then
that's right. There is redundancy.
Yes, there's redundancy. So if one's beeping, call us, let us know, but it's not, you're not going to overheat.
It's not a 911 call for one unit gone.
Right.
3 units is a different story, but again, because it's redundant, shouldn't be that issue. But we're not expecting that to be the problematic either way.
It's relatively speaking loud in here, and the door's closed. Am I ever going to hear this alarm go?
Oh, yeah,
you'll hear it. You will hear it.
You'll hear it.
Okay, so
we
will hear it outside.
One of the things, until we get everything perfectly dialed in, figure out how we're going to communicate with some of the stuff too, is you may have a little bit of balance, but then now we got everything in here, we'll try and get it all tweaked out, where you may even have something like, humidity level of one of these systems seem a little bit high. It may not even be running at that point, and it just because the load and how everything's transmitting through together, but then once everything balances out after those and circulates, some of those alarms will actually go away on their own.
Okay. And I think I was talking to Scott earlier this morning, but if an alarm does go off, I contact our portal with the building, or I call you guys directly?
Yeah,
or how
the
does
building has nothing to do with this.
Nothing. Okay,
Engineering,
so no.
yeah.
So this is going to be a
This'll
part of the
that
maintenance
support
contract that CSC is writing up right now. Correct.
Okay, got it. All right. Very good.
Is it tough to sign off the alarm?
No.
I was just saying, I mean, there's no alarm really going right now. Usually, pretty much when you're in a precedent, there's a silence right there. So, yeah, you just press that and it'll put it into a silence, and you might
Basically, yes, telling you to look at the stat.
Yeah. Once you hear it, you're like, I don't
You
know.
know. Yeah. Yes.
Got it. All right.
So that's basically the server room. It's a standalone, so it should be on its own.